Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final Doctor Who debate. And I'm going up against meteorologist Katie and Professor Brady Specs. PJ Orville Nation will be here as soon as he can. But we've started without him. Hashtag blame PJ. So, folks, you're here.
Comment section of blame Deej instead.
Yeah. It's there's not too many streams I can go to without seeing the hashtag blame Deej.
Oh no!
I told everyone to blame me, so
I'm getting blamed a lot today because we got 6 inches of snow instead of 2.
Yeah, it's your fault. So if I get more than 1 to 3 inches, what they're calling for here, since it's coming from your direction, I will be sending a Dalek your way.
It's fine. I can handle it.
She's got her Sonic. Multiple Sonics.
Oh, I have the entire collection.
Oh, I'm envious of that.
No, it's great because Jodie's Sonic was $5. So if you ever want her Sonic, it's dirt cheap. Which is good and bad.
I'll pass.
But it's so...
If you're going to complete your collection...
It spins. That's about all I have.
No comment from Deej on that one.
No comment on that one. No comment on that one. Nope. I'm going to behave. All I'm going to say at the moment is this.
I'm trying to send a distress signal. Stop talking about doctors.
I'm a doctor.
I'm the doctor.
I'm the doctor.
No, doctor, I'm the doctor, and I say that you're not fit.
You may be a doctor, but I'm the doctor.
The original, you might say.
The definite article.
But probably not the one you expected.
And I saw Professor Brainy Specs. I saw Professor Brainy Specs mouthing the entire phrase all along. He knows his Doctor Who.
I know quite a bit. I don't know it all. There's, 50-some years of history there.
Yeah, but that's the fun of it. There's always something to find.
Exactly.
And there's always a question you can ask that somebody doesn't remember. Mondas, Katie?
Huh?
Mondasian Cyberman? Remember that just a few days ago? I asked that question.
I remember you asking her that.
I will blame that on a lack of sleep and the fact that I had just gone through the 9th Doctors and I completely just brain farted.
We'll forgive you.
But
At least I will.
I'm going to say hello to those that showed up in the chat. Andrea Seabrooks here. Thomas Potts is here. Louise Sparrow is here. Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies. Michael T. High Desert Comics. I can't even talk. No. And we have our very own Yvette, who does great job on Fridays. She is a part of the Doctor Who chat on Fridays.
There's a Doctor Who chat on Fridays?
Ooh.
Yes, they are a group of UK people that do nothing but talk about Doctor Who on Fridays.
Nice.
Does that mean I can't join in? Katie can't join in?
I think we have a pretty good Scottish accent. I don't know about you.
I don't know if they take extra people, but
I am 50% Scottish. So
I'm a quarter English and a quarter Irish.
There you go.
That'd probably get me booted off there right there because I think I'll argue with myself.
Poor Deej.
I know it. Hashtag blame Deej. All right, so we're going to start this off with what we like about Doctor Who.
Yvette says we wouldn't like her show.
Well, they
I want to know why.
yeah.
They kind of lean towards my side. They're more the classic Who. So let's start off with the lady, though. Ladies always go first here on the channel. So meteorologist Katie, what is it that you do like about Doctor Who right now?
Are we talking all of New Who or just Jodie?
You can talk anything you want on what you like. If it happens to be Jodie, you can go there and I will keep my mouth shut.
Okay. Well, I think the thing that I really like about the recent Who, honestly, just all of New Who, is how it's brought in so many more people to the fandom, myself included. I don't think I would have seen Doctor Who if it hadn't have been for David Tennant. And as David put it, I start out with the Christmas Invasion and go from there. Not necessarily the best advice, but the advice that I took. So it's really, I like that they're traveling to current times, which, considering old Who, it would have been the future. And it's really an interesting dynamic in the show that you have two different eras of a show that are so very similar but so very different. And it's just a very unique flavor of a show, something that you don't see anywhere else on TV right now, or probably ever. And I also really like New Who, especially Jodie, because it has had an impact on young girls. And I know it's kind of like, oh, yeah, fine. But it's nice to know that there's some young girls out there who are getting more into science because of her, or because they watch, say, for example, Star Trek and see Uhura. I think it's kind of a similar movement. So I'm okay with it.
All right, Professor, you're up.
Well, I got a question here. Katie talked about New Who. Can I talk about Old Who?
Well, of course.
Or Classic Who? Okay. Well, Doctor Who, to me, is so great because you can do just about anything you want with it. We've seen comedy episodes. We've seen episodes in the past, in the future, on other planets, on spaceships. We've seen horror episodes. We've seen lighter episodes, episodes where they were just making fun of themselves a bit, or at fandom. It is so flexible. You can do so much with this type of show. So if you don't like the current episode, maybe come back next week. You'll probably like that one because they're going to do something different. It changes every episode. It is that flexible. You can bring in different actors and different roles. With, let's say, Star Trek, okay, you've got a set cast that goes throughout that entire season or series. Next Generation, you got Captain Picard and you got Commander Riker and Troy. It's the same people week after week after week. If you want variety, Doctor Who does that. Wait a season or two. The companion will change. You'll get a new character there. The Doctor will change. You'll get a new actor or actress in the role of the Doctor. And the personality will change. If you don't like the current Doctor, maybe not your cup of tea, wait for a season or two. You'll get a new person there. And maybe you'll like the character again. So it's a very flexible format. And we've seen that all throughout its history. It started when the first companion left, Susan. When she left, we got a new character. Ian and Barbara, they left. We got new characters replacing them. William Hartnell had to leave the role because of his health. We got a new doctor. Patrick Troughton was phenomenal. One of my favorite doctors of all time. And that's what I love about Doctor Who. It's not the same from episode to episode, from season to season, from era to era. So that's what I love about Doctor
Who. Yep. I agree with that. I don't want to say hello to Curtis and Poe and Jedi Bill, and Dr. Alex will be popping up here.
Cool.
Awesome.
And
Dr.
Katie,
Alex is a huge Doctor Who fan.
Actually, you really should. I'm going to give you his link, Katie, because he does Doctor Who stories.
Oh, fantastic.
And he sits down, he reads them. It's awesome work. You really got to check him out.
Awesome.
And hello, Darren. All right, so it's me. Now I got to say what I like about Doctor Who. Well, I'm old, so I grew up with the classic Who. My first doctors were Pertwee and Baker.
That's a good start.
And then I expanded from there. But I was happy when it did come back. I loved Eccleston. I loved Tennant's Doctor. I loved Smith's. I really loved Capaldi, except for the bad writing. He did what he could with what he got. I would have ranked him right up there with Baker, Tom,
Ooh.
as the best doctors, if he'd been given a real chance. But I do agree with Professor Brainy Specs. I love how they can do just about anything they want. They can go back and give you a historical view of something, or they can just give you something that's so out there that not many other shows could do, like fighting the devil. Come on, who can't forget that? But I'm going to have to save the rest of it for the next segment on what we don't like about Doctor Who at this point.
Uh-oh.
Or about the past that you might not like. We'll leave it broadly out there, but I'm going to be respectful in it. I promised I would. But I will try to defend my positions. And you can counter back and throw it at me, all your positions.
And I got to mention there in the chat, hello, Jedi Bill. It's good to see you.
Alexander Brooks is there. Yitzy's in there. Our man from Belgium. Yep, he does all our little avatars that we have.
And Yitza, yeah, I did shave finally. I had a pretty good beard going on there for a little bit because the water situation here was bad. I really didn't want to shave.
That's when you just go out and get some of that snow that you had as a record and melt it. Just watch out for the mites.
Yes, you got all the snow fleas you could possibly want.
Oh boy. I think I'll pass on that.
I will
They
still
just
eat
add
it.
flavor.
I'll still eat it. And here we are. Welcome, Dr. Alex.
Oh my God, I just ran
Hey!
from one room to another. I have about 3 different versions on the go. There's so much echo right now. It's ridiculous.
Welcome, Dr. Alex.
Can you hear 1,000 echoes?
No?
No.
It goes just a little soft.
Soft. Okay.
Oh, there-
Oh, now you're good.
Now,
Okay, I was pointing away from the microphone.
Yes.
Dr. Alex, I would say, is our expert Whovian.
Hang on 1 second. I'm just going to get rid of the other version I've got running right now. There we go. No, it's too distracting. Expert Whovian. What an honor.
Well, especially compared to the rest of us, you are the expert because you have wrote Doctor Who. You have
This is yeah. In a tiny way, I have, yes.
That's brilliant.
you continue to do it on your channel. Often.
Yes. I mean, where else could I do it now?
So the question was when we started this, you got a really good time. We're at the beginning. It's what do you like about Doctor Who?
Me?
Yep.
Okay. What do I like about Doctor Who? I don't know. It fits quite a few of the heroic central character types that I like. They're quite old-fashioned in that sense. I mean, I like Sherlock Holmes. I like the Doctor. There are other ones that are less immediately, obviously, the same sort of type, but I liked nonconformist, I guess, intellectually gifted. They can be physically gifted as well, but that's not their main, or it's not their only string to their bow. They have multiple facets and skills and multiple flaws as well. They are imperfect characters. Bizarrely human when you talk about the Doctor, but he is meant to be flawed. That's the whole purpose of him. He's not a god. He's kind of a god, but he's not a god wandering around able to zap anything at will. He has limits. He has weaknesses, both in his physical existence, but also in his mindset and his mentality.
Yeah, that's so true.
Makes him more relatable.
And
Yeah,
I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you do this one We had a comment in the chat, Dr. Alex. Cushing was the best doctor. Fight me. And welcome, PJ. It's
Hey.
officially,
PJ.
Sorry, guys. Good to be
How's
here.
it going?
it's officially the
Good to see
Peej
you,
and Deej
PJ.
stream now.
Yay. Welcome, PJ.
Good to see you
Well,
guys.
you
Welcome.
want to fight that comment, Alex? Cushing was the best doctor.
Peter Cushing is a great actor. I mean, he was brilliant in all the Hammer horror films opposite Christopher Lee. He was brilliant as Admiral Tarkin in Star Wars. He's a brilliant actor. And the Doctor Who, I was talking to Old Media Guy recently, and the Doctor Who films with Peter Cushing came up, and it made me rethink about them. And I kind of always shoved them off to the side in my head. I saw them as a kid, thought they were fine, didn't give them too much thought. Now thinking back, I want to go and rewatch them. I want to give them another go and see how I feel about them now as a more mature and grown-up connoisseur of Doctor Who.
All right, PJ, you're late to the show, but do you have a like about Doctor Who?
You're muted, PJ.
There you go. Thanks. Do I have a favorite Doctor Who?
Nope.
Now, what do you like about Doctor Who?
Oh, what do I like about Doctor Who? I like the fact. See, I used to watch old school, really old school Doctor Who, and I was kind of like nobody in my family liked it. I don't know. Actually, the parts of me back then thought it was a little bit cheesy, but at the same time, it was extremely intriguing. And I don't know. There's something about it that was just extremely intriguing.
And I'm going to answer a quick question. Richie Poole didn't know that Cushing played the Doctor. Yes, in 2 films. They're non-canon, though. Slightly altered. He was supposed to be human in those, but yes, Peter Cushing did play the Doctor.
It was basically Terry Nation trying to milk his copyright of the Daleks to Max. So basically, they're Terry Nation films. And a bit of a problem with, not being keeping his copyrights under control. And so Terry Nation had equal, if not more, with the Daleks. He didn't really have control of the Doctor Who, so he changed it very slightly to make those films. But they're still good films. They're basically 2 of the William Hartnell stories. The original, the Daleks story, and then Daleks Invasion Earth. That basically took those 2 he wrote for the first Doctor and just plonked them into bigger, more money film settings,
and in color, which at that time Doctor Who was still in black and white. All right, so we're going to get to the part where we're going to discuss things that we don't like about what's going on with Doctor Who now. And of course, we're going to be the gentleman here, and we'll let Katie go first if there's anything. I kind of have this feeling she's not going to find too much wrong with it right now.
No, it's not impervious, and it's certainly not. It's not perfect. I think, especially in the latest few seasons, it has become horribly preachy to the point where it's obnoxious. It's still, you're able to get good Doctor Who out of it. But considering, it all has to do with what we're dealing with now as a human race, and they're trying to put it in and not bend it at all. Like Star Trek would cover things like racism directly in their episodes, but you would be watching it thinking, okay, this is still a sci-fi show. It's not directly related to it. Doctor Who is like, okay, screw it. We're just going to push it all in at once and be comfortable with it. And I think it's just a little too on the nose. So I'd like it better if it was more of a sci-fi wrapper of things, because then it makes it more comfortable for people to discuss these topics, and it makes it easier for people to discuss the topics that they're trying to bring into the light. I think they're just going about it the wrong way. And I have a feeling that probably within a year or two, eventually that'll finally wear itself thin, even in the writer's room, and they'll finally get back to where they should be, with more of the sci-fi aspect and less of the preachiness.
Yeah, I will agree on that one, because even Star Trek, Doctor Who back in the day, they gave you things to think about, but they didn't beat you over the head with it. They just wanted you to think about it.
Exactly. And now that's one of the problems, not just with Doctor Who at the moment, but Star Trek and Star Wars. It's all just, we are going to give you a concussion by beating you over the head with the same topics that every other sci-fi show is trying to talk about right now. And that's the meanest thing you've ever heard me say. I'm in a mood. No, they just have to get back and realize that people aren't coming to these shows to get told that the human race is screwing everything up. We came to these shows to look for hope and potentially sci-fi fantastical ways of fixing it. And I really hope they get back to that.
Professor, your turn.
I'm going to concur with Katie with a lot of what she said. It's gone a bit woke. I think there was a line in the first episode of the last season where she considered being female an upgrade or something to that effect.
I'm not going to lie. I never thought I'd hear you say the word woke.
Oh, really? Why is that?
I never hear anyone else out of my generation say it.
Oh, okay. Well, you heard it from me.
Sorry, continue. Oh. I love it.
And it has been preachy. Although I think the last season was a little less preachy than the prior one. So I think there was some improvement there. The stories have been a little bit lacking. But again, I think the last series was a bit better with their storytelling than the prior one. Series 11, I would only go back and watch maybe 3 of them, 3 out of 10. This last series, Series 12, there's probably about 6 or 7 I'd go back and watch. So that's an improvement.
That's
and
most
I'm
of
hoping.
the series, isn't it?
There were 10 episodes in series 12. So yeah, most of them. Most of them.
Pretty pathetic output.
Yeah. Well, I look at like series 2, and there's probably only about half of those I'd go back and watch, unless it just happens to be on the TV. I wouldn't meaningfully go back and watch Fear Her, for example, from series 2. I didn't care for it.
What about the one with the giant face blob alien?
Giant face blob alien.
Tennant's first season. It was like the green thing. It was running around chasing a guy.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even remember the name of the episode.
Yeah, Love and Monsters. I probably wouldn't watch that one either. That's probably another one I wouldn't watch from series 2. So there are good and bad series. I didn't much care for Capaldi's first series either, series 8. There was only a handful there I'd probably go back and watch. But I would watch a lot of series 4. Series 4 was great. Series 1 was great. So as I was getting back to what I was saying in my first go, if you don't like the current series, wait a series. It probably get better. If you don't like a certain episode, wait until the next week. You'll probably like that one. So, what I don't like about it currently is the storytelling, the wokeness, but I think it's getting better. And I'm hoping for better things in Series 13, and I think we'll talk about that in a bit. I want to address something PJ mentioned earlier. He said that he watched the classics, and I started with the classics as well, with Tom Baker, and none of my family got it. They didn't understand why I liked this show. They thought it was pretty crap, that the effects were just wonky and bad acting and whatnot. I didn't think the acting was too terrible, but the storytelling is why I watched it. The first story I watched was the Android Invasion, Tom Baker, and watching this this man with the long scarf running around having an adventure. I was a teenager then, and I thought it was a lot of fun. So I just kept watching and got into the lore, and that's what drew me in.
All right. Now we're going to go to
That's my go.
Let's go to our expert, Dr. Alex. Plus, he gives a unique view because, we're a bunch of Americans up here talking about it. Dr. Alex is actually UK. He can give us a home field thought.
There's so many things I've said that were interesting. I wanted to leap in on, but I didn't want to trample over everyone. So I don't know where to start. I don't think Doctor Who's going to get better while Chimble's in charge. I just don't see. He's just repeatedly demonstrated his incompetence as both showrunner and writer. Not for either of those. I think it's going. Oh, you're back. You're back. I don't think it's going to get better while Chimble's running it. I came into Doctor Who with Tom Baker as well. I mean, literally, Tom Baker came in within months of me being born. And obviously when he went out, I was about 6. So, I was completely indoctrinated as a small child with Tom Baker. And to be fair, felt perpetually disappointed ever since because no other Doctors, until the new run, were really good. But they just slowly declined over the entirety of the old classic Doctor Who until Sylvester McCoy. My God, I remember being in a House of Whovians in my early 20s, watching Sylvester McCoy get shot multiple times in a New York alley, and thought, yeah, and we were all going, yes, because we were so glad that bloody Doctor was gone. Because we'd all had.
I take offense to that, Dr. Alex. He's my favorite Doctor. I'm not saying he's the best Doctor, but he's my favorite.
Fine. I'll recuperate I'll bring myself back slightly in your eyes by saying that what I'm working on at the moment is I'm about to get another book out. And it's basically collecting all of the Doctor Who stories I've written prior to doing the season 12, which I did for YouTube. So I've got together the three Big Finish stories, plus the stuff I wrote before. And I discovered something while looking back, that the first story I wrote for Doctor Who was, in fact, accidental, I'm sure, but it was a 7th Doctor story. So the first story in this book will be a 7th Doctor story.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Does he have Ace with him? Does he have Ace with him?
No. He must have snuck out some companions. He goes off in London to go and own a. That's how it starts off. And when he comes back, I'll spoil it too much, but stuff happens on saxophone somewhere.
Yeah, we're having a little issue. You keep seeming to cutting in and out.
Am I cutting in and out?
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
It's kind of like in every once in a while. I'm not sure.
One of the reasons I like the 7th Doctor so much is because of the dynamic between him and Ace. I thought that was just fantastic.
Okay, you want the English perspective?
Yep.
Sure.
We had real trouble with it because Ace was a schoolyard thing for saying things are good, but it was way out of date by the time they were using it for Ace's name. So everyone was going, oh, God, that's just so bloody cheesy and out of date. And this is like the kids. So going, no, this is awful. So, I mean, they managed to hit so many wrong notes in so many ways. I mean, Sylvester McCoy looks like high art compared to Chimble's efforts, but it was not great. Being indoctrinated into Tom Baker and then had the slow decline through the Doctors from that point on.
All right, PJ, you're up.
Well, I think that, and it's nice to meet you, Dr. Alex. I don't think we've met.
You too.
I think that Katie's assessment of Preachy sounds really correct to me. I think it's a good description, Preachy. And to be honest, I think the thing I most dislike about Doctor Who is the BBC's interaction with the audience. I know I've mentioned this before, but I remember there was a tweet last year. There was a Twitter interaction last year that Katie was involved with. And some guy, don't worry, it's not bad. Some guy responded to one of your tweets you had some kind of interaction with the BBC, the Doctor Who account or whatever it was, and some guy responded, but the Doctor Who is a guy or something like that.
Oh,
and
I
you
remember
said,
this.
"Oh, I guess he doesn't know yet." And what did the BBC do? They blocked him. And I like things like that. That kind of level of censorship, I think, is just unnecessary, and I think it's not good.
Especially when you can have fun with the trolls instead.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't even think he was a troll. I think he was just an upset fan.
Yeah.
You know, maybe an older guy who just didn't get the change. So, but anyway, it's more what I most dislike about it is basically the BBC's interaction with some of the public.
All right, now it's my turn.
Oh, I fear this.
Yeah, I'm going to try to be respectful on this one. And while some claim that it's less woke this past season,
Everyone's using this word, and I find it hilarious.
my biggest complaint is how they fucked over the canon.
Oh yeah.
This timeless child bull.
Yeah.
Just because they wanted to push in their little narratives.
The charmless child, as I call it.
You know, it's like, come on. How much are you going to screw it over claiming that the Doctor is not even Gallifreyan? And I'll be back in a minute. I got a call.
Yeah. The thing that I don't think even, and it's not just a problem with Doctor Who. Like I said, it reaches out to new sci-fi as well, Star Trek especially. You have writers who simply do not understand, or worse, don't appreciate the canon that came before it. And you will find any fandom you go into, you start screwing with canon, you are going to lose a lot of fans. And they're just going to wait until that's the great thing about Doctor Who is they will wait until your time is up, kick you out the door, and welcome another person in with open arms. So,
yeah, but Chimbal has no excuse because he's been knocking around in the Doctor Who world for at least as long as I have, and I suspect longer, in fact. And he's been embedded in the Doctor Who world for all that time, no doubt climbing his way up the management hierarchy through whatever means he can, because it can't be writing talent. And he has no excuse for mucking up the canon, because unless he was walking around with his socks stuffed in his ears for his entire life, he has known the canon, or he should know the canon. Maybe what goes in one ear comes out the other. I don't know. Maybe he really has little in between to stop them. But Jesus Christ, he's terrible.
Alex, let me ask you this: is messing up canon? Do you think it has more to do with the person's ego to make a mark on Doctor Who history than anything?
I do wonder. I actually been thinking the same thing, particularly when it comes to Chimbal. I think must have a lot of frustrations in his life that he's now taking out by setting fire to the thing that he purported to love, and somehow it must have let him down or disappointed him over his life.
Well,
it's like wanting to make his mark. Sorry, Professor.
That's okay. That's okay, PJ.
The bed protest.
Well, let me just say that this storyline is not finished. We don't know its final product. It could be all a lie by the master. And even if it isn't, it kind of fits in with some of the things we saw from Brain of Morbius. And also, there are ways that they could write and explain how that William Hartnell was the first Doctor and still have the history before that. And I think there can be a timey-wimey way of explaining how the child showed up on that planet by that gate and still be Gallifreyan. There are ways that it could be written around this.
This is getting,
and in fact, in my headcanon, I've come up with some of these. That's true. And how much the fan base would accept that if, they got that complex, I don't know.
I think my method of solving it is more elegant.
I've seen your explanation for that.
It was all a fevered dream during the
Well, I have to thank Dallas, you know.
Yep. Oh, and I'm back.
Yay!
But
Welcome back, Deej.
my thought was just, it's like they pissed off a large amount of the fandom.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Look at their ratings right now. If you go by the ratings, their ratings are down there where it was when Doctor Who got canceled in '89.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not the same world as '89, though.
Not a good sign.
I think the thing is
The ratings don't mean the same thing. And I'm sorry, Katie.
Oh, you're good. No, because that's a very good point. Is you have to look at not just like the TV ratings. You have to look at how many people are talking about it online, what the presence is like in a fandom. And even if, say, you were to have a replica of Doctor Who going off the air for a little bit, it's going to come back. It'll come back. You just got to give it time, and you got to get rid of all the people who are screwing it over.
I know, but I'm getting old. I could be dead before it comes back again.
That's why you have fanfiction.net and all of these brilliant websites.
That's why I have Dr. Alex.
Big Finish.
Yeah, there you go. Big Finish. Oh my gosh, yes.
It's really filled in the gap in the last, the gap between the classic run and the new series.
I have a theory.
And
I
all
want
the
to
novels. Go ahead, PJ.
I have a theory I want to ask you guys about. I think they're going to try to coerce some really big names in the near future to be involved with Doctor Who to get it back on the map.
Michael Sheen.
Any predictions to who might join the cast?
Michael Sheen.
Yeah, clear of it.
Oh gosh. I would love it if they had Michael Sheen as the Doctor, because then David and Michael would both be the Doctor, and it would be amazing for people who love them.
But he won't go anywhere near it. No one is going to go anywhere near it of any sort of standing right now, because nobody wants to touch that pile of shit right now and get stuff covered in it.
If you want to make it worse, I could be the Doctor and make an American and really screw it over.
No, that's not necessarily so bad.
You'd probably help it, Katie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least I have the natural personality of the Doctor.
Exactly. Most people do, just not perhaps Jodie Whittaker. They could have made. They could have made the add to her intelligence, but as I think I've made perfectly clear, I think the current showrunner is lacking in both wit and intelligence, so that's the problem. But it's just ridiculous. The transgender Doctor, and it isn't just him. Moffat is also guilty of this as well. He lined it up with Missy, and I knew the second Missy was revealed as the Master that they were going to make the Doctor female. It was really obvious for me at that point. It was no surprise, and I knew it was probably going to be at the end of Capaldi's run, and lo and behold, it was. So yeah. The both of them could have done it so much better. I mean, if I remember the transgender community, I'm not sure I'd want my representation to be one psychopath and then someone who had the most extended midlife crisis ever. This is what you want transgender representation to be? Wow. Way to go, Moffat and Chimble.
Yeah.
There we go. Next Doctor.
You know what's weird to think is that was almost a year ago today at one of the largest conventions in the Midwest. It's C2E2 in Chicago. Yeah. My God, we never should have gotten that off. The first death in the U.S. or something like that happened as my wheels were going up in the air from COVID. And oh, holy crap. Now that I look at it, we never should have gone. But it was so much fun. And I got recognized. That was the thing, is I was worried. Like, not just Doctor Who people who recognized me, like people who had never seen the show were like, "Oh, you're the Doctor Who person." I'm like, that is wrong, but yes.
The Doctor Who person.
That is wrong on so many levels. But
isn't that funny. Where you met the guy from Mythbusters? What's his name?
Yeah, that's where I chased down Adam Savage in that costume.
See, I would have been a smart ass and I said, look, it's more work. Nanu.
I think that's the most compliment you could have been paid. People refer to Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor Who person, not actually as the Doctor.
Yeah, well, it worked. No, I was
You're
one of the
spot on.
only people who dressed up as her. I was really surprised, especially considering her costume's so cheap.
Actually, I am surprised at
Yeah.
that being the current Doctor.
Yeah, no, it was all 10s. There was a couple of 11s. There was one 12 who was my friend, and I was the only 13. And there were like a ton of rivers.
Kind of say it all though, doesn't it?
Yeah, true.
Well, that and the her Sonic now is $5.
It is $5. Hot Topic. Just the clearance bin, and it spins.
I won't.
No comment.
I won't call I normally do. I'm being good today.
Oh,
Guys, and make sure everybody subscribes to Professor Brainy Speck's YouTube information that he's putting in.
I've put everybody.
Thank you for that, PJ.
I've put everybody's YouTube links down below in the comments. I added Dr. Alex as soon as he got up here. So if you don't see it right away, just refresh the page. It's down there. Trust me.
thanks.
We can't leave Dr. Alex out.
The two shows that I helped produce are not in the description, but I did put them in the chat.
Nice.
Yeah. And we'll fix that error too here.
Thank
I
you.
saw someone in the comments put, doesn't anyone ever dress up as the Ninth Doctor? I've seen 2 people dress up as the Ninth Doctor, and I'm going to do a Ninth Doctor cosplay as well because he is so underrated.
Well, he's actually my favorite from the new series.
Really? Wait, what's your
Yeah.
favorite Ninth Doctor episode?
Dalek.
Really? Okay.
Yes, I love that episode. That's an awesome episode.
That's when you really finally get to see the true dark nature. That goes
yeah.
back to one of the first things with why you like Doctor Who. I love that it's not afraid to get dark, but be funny at the same time. Because very rarely will you find a show that can really do both well.
And that's kind of why I like the Seventh Doctor. He got very dark at times.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he hung himself off the edge of a cliff for no good reason.
Well, yeah, that's before they started going dark with him, but yes.
Oh, Seventh Doctor classic.
Is there any chance they'll bring an old Doctor back, guys?
You could do an Eighth
Well,
Doctor
they-
series.
And they already did bring back the Eighth Doctor for a mini episode. And they also brought the Fifth Doctor. They also brought back the Fifth Doctor in a mini episode.
You know what I would love to see? And this is purely me being indulgent of my fan fiction obsession. I want to see 10-2 or the Metacrisis Doctor with Rose in the alternate universe. And I want them to bring back the scene where they have the piece of the TARDIS and they grow their own and just go on a 10-2 adventure. Show them have kids, or they could just be drinking tea for all I care. That would be so good.
I'd like to see Sean Pertwee come along and play his father because he flipping well could.
That'd be
easily.
cool.
Yes.
I remember my friend John sent me a picture of him, of Sean Pertwee, dressed up as his father, John, and it was uncanny. He'd done it for Halloween. It was like, whoa, okay, yeah, you could definitely play the Third Doctor. That would work fine.
I know a lot of
with
people
different.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Katie. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go.
Well, they also brought back the first Doctor in a way through what's the actor's name?
The guy from Harry
blanking now.
Potter.
Right. I can't think of his name now.
Oh, yeah.
But he was in the Twice Upon a Time episode.
And there is a picture of Sean Pertwee.
That is insane.
That is insane. He could pull it off easily.
There's a whole movement of
Uncanny.
people who say David Tennant's son, Ty Tennant, he could play a doctor sometime in the future and just create a whole kerfuffle with that family being a doctor. Or, hear me out, they could bring back the doctor's daughter.
Yeah, if you watch my 2 videos about how to make the Doctor female, you'll see I had a suggestion for that too.
It would be so easy because then you could keep the doctor the way that he is, And then you can have a whole new female line of the Doctor. You won't have to worry about ticking off one side or the other, or making
That's
a mess
exactly what
of
I
the
said in my
transgender line.
videos.
Really? I need to watch your videos.
Go and watch my videos now. Homework time.
No, it makes so much sense.
You'd
I
learn,
just sub to you, Doctor.
you'd learn a lot from the Doctor.
Almost definitely.
Kapla bird.
David Bradley.
Pop.
David Bradley played the first Doctor.
I was still a little angry when they made Missy the Master. I was really hoping for Missy being the Ronnie.
Yes, exactly. Another missed opportunity, which I picked up and rectified. But my God, I mean, that was just so dumb. Like, for God's sake, you've got a good, strong female character villain. Use it. But no, let's make it.
Yeah.
Well, like as a female,
one.
and we of course have all females have unique views and everything. It's hard to put it into general terms, but like with taking an established character and just making them female, almost sounds like a handout. And it's like we don't want
exactly.
that.
It's tokenism.
Yeah,
it's pandering.
We want a character who is sure, make her female. Honestly, I don't really care. As long as you write the character well, I'm going to watch it and I'll relate to them. Exactly. But if you're going to input a quality female character, make her own thing. Do like the Doctor's daughter. Easy way. You just make an accidental potential Gallifreyan person. Go for it. Don't just take a character and be like, oh, Rory's a girl now. Like, that's something I wouldn't put past them.
If they really wanted a plot twist, they could have made Missy Romana mad at the Doctor.
Yeah. That could have worked too. Yeah, so many things they could have done if they had an ounce of intelligence.
I'll tell you what, they could probably go back 20 years from now and be like, you know what, let's fix this whole screw up and just take a big old black Sharpie and be like, that's not canon, this is...
Well,
just see how that goes.
It can be done. They did that with the Eighth Doctor saying he's half human. We all brushed that one under the carpet as fast as we could.
It's not real. Not real.
Christ. Which idiot said that?
Well, they easily said that when they said the Doctor lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the master said it too. But the Master lies as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Is lying.
And there's all these little inconsistencies in any sci-fi. So I mean, it could bounce back. It's just a matter of somebody taking the reins. Who knows what they're doing?
Well, that's like we have two backstories for the Daleks too.
Yeah.
Now, Dr. Alex, is your channel only Doctor Who, or does it cover other stuff?
Well, yeah, mostly Doctor. I did my first series. I did was my top 10 sword fighting films of all time, based on. But there was a narrow restriction on it. It had to be fencing based sword fighting. It wasn't just like Conan the Barbarian hack and slash stuff. It had to be fencing based. Which actually I managed to crowbar in Adventures of Robin Hood, because they should have been using long swords, medieval swords. They're fencing with them as if they are rapiers or even foils. No, I'd say epées, rapiers or epées. So I allowed that one in, but they basically had to be fencing based fights. That was my top 10 first thing I did, and I've done some music equipment stuff thrown in there. And then most of the recent stuff has been Doctor Who, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, Dr. Alex is good with being a musician too.
I'm not a musician. I'm a keen amateur at best.
Well, you're still better than a lot of us that they try.
I can play the radio.
I
can play the spoons.
I can play the sonics. You got different. Let's see. We can get there, and then we could get a little like that. Just get a little beat going. It could work.
Now, we had a question earlier in the chat from Thomas Potts. And this is going to be thrown out to just anybody that wants to answer this. But if you were new to Doctor Who, where would be a good spot to start?
Can I take this one?
Go for it, Katie.
Okay, I was new to Who back in November 2019 was when I watched my first episode. And I actually went to a Comic-Con that David Tennant was supposed to appear at. And I was into it because of Good Omens and DuckTales. And so I went up. He could only do it virtually, sadly. But I asked him, and I said, where should I start? Are there any characters that I shouldn't get attached to? Anything I should know? To which he laughed in my face. And then he said, start with the Christmas Invasion and go from there. I would recommend going back and watching The Ninth Doctor, just in my opinion. Ninth Doctor, 10th Doctor, whatever. You can add in Classic Who. That's just my opinion, because that's what I've been doing, is adding in Classic Who while I've been watching New Who. And I just really I think it's easier to adjust and acclimate to Doctor Who with the new series, or the New Who, because it's more modern times, more relatable. But that's just me. I'd start with the Ninth Doctor and wait it out, because there are some cringy 2005 references, but it really takes off. I don't know about you guys.
I think Dr. Alex wants to jump in there, and he'll say, start off with my stories.
No. I would actually agree with you. I think for the younger audience, they're not going to be able to cope with older stuff, to be fair. Okay, so I'm so old. When I was growing up, we had, I'm contemporary with the Fourth Doctor, with Tom Baker's run. But as I was growing up as a child into the 70s, into the 80s, into the early 90s, I was still classed as a child just then. We were watching stuff by force all the way back to the turn of the century, the 19th to the 20th century, because there was limited TV channels and they were perpetually rerunning silent movies and everything else. We were unconsciously educated in how to absorb and appreciate and at least cope with past old media for way back from the technology level of where we were at the time. So we're much more forgiving of old creaky stuff, and we can look past that and try and just pull out the narrative and deal with that. A modern audience, I think they're screwed. I think modern audiences just aren't. They're exposed to a lot of media, but not much from history. I mean, it reminds me of stuff that Jesse Milestone of Miles Entertainment was talking about, to do with how comments were being viewed as anti-Semitic, and she's Jewish, by the way, and she wouldn't have viewed it that way because she knew about the Holocaust. And I was thinking, yeah, me too. And I'm not Jewish, but when I was growing up, you couldn't not be aware of it. It was in every aspect of media. I mean, the Second World War was something that loomed for the entirety of up until the turn of the 21st century. I mean, there's no way you couldn't know this stuff. Now, I could bet there are people out there who are not familiar with this stuff as like second nature, and will make faux pas because of that, and won't realize whose toes they're treading on because they have no idea of history and context.
I've seen a TikTok trend where this teacher shows historical figures and asks their students, who was this? And they showed a picture of Gandhi, and one girl said, oh, isn't that Yoda?
Oh, God.
And,
oh, God.
Yeah. Then there was another one, and he was like, okay, do you know who Helen Keller is? And one girl was like, oh, yeah, she's the girl who faked everyone by pretending to be deaf and blind, and she totally wasn't. She made it through life. I'm like, and then there was another person who was like, isn't she the person who started World War II? And they go, what? And you go, Helen Keller was the German person who ran all the things. It's like, holy crap, you people don't know anything.
Yeah, this is where I think we are.
It's terrifying.
Okay, I'm going to go a little off everybody's thing, and I think that if somebody really wanted to get started, they should watch Adventures in Time and Space first.
That's an interesting choice.
Just to learn what it took to get Doctor Who on the air to begin with, and having the first female producer.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's a bit heavy going, though.
It's a bit heavy going, but I don't know. It just seems like that would be a good starting point for somebody to actually learn how the show evolved, even during the first Doctor. Going from basically being a show that was supposed to teach history to being a full-blown science fiction show.
Quite rapidly as well.
Yep. And even the little stumbles that were along the way, like the first episode not doing too well because all the news coverage was because of JFK's assassination. Just my personal opinion.
I think you have to have some interest and knowledge of the show for that to work.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would be a good starting point. I would have one of two starting places, either with Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor, 2005, or with Matt Smith, because you kind of have a natural restart right there. New TARDIS, new Doctor, new companions. So it's all fresh, and you got a new producer as well. So that might be a good place to start, is if maybe 2005 was a little bit too cheesy. That first series did have its cheesiness to it. 2010, when Matt Smith did start the fifth series, that might be a little better starting point.
That's where I'm starting my family on, purely because of the Van Gogh episode. But
oh, good episode. I think that's overrated slightly. But
how dare you?
Oh, I know. How dare me? But yeah. I do think it's a little overrated.
Everybody knows Dinosaurs in Space was way better.
And I think Blink is a little overrated too.
That one.
Great episode. Great episode. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's a little overrated.
Nah, I was being sarcastic if anybody couldn't tell.
You sarcastic, Deej? Never.
What?
I don't know. PJ, you have any starting points you'd want to throw out there?
Well, I saw Peter Capaldi in a film the other day. I think it was about what was it called? It was a film about WikiLeaks, like based on a true story. Anyway, anytime I see Peter Capaldi, he's like, no matter what kind of role he's playing, to me, he's just Doctor Who, and it would be nice to see. I mean, I don't know. It would be nice to see some of these people brought back, maybe not necessarily in the Doctor Who role, but it may be in a similar role in a different franchise. Who knows? I'm just babbling. For don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Captain Capaldi in Star Trek. I'd go for it.
I was thinking that, Katie. As long as it's not Kurtzman Trek.
Oh, God.
Capaldi was a doctor in that zombie movie with Brad Pitt.
Oh.
Like, he's listed in the credits as Who Doctor.
Yes, he is.
In World War Z.
I was watching like a little snippet from Torchwood, because I haven't seen Torchwood or the Sarah Jane Adventures or Class or any of that yet. But he popped up in one of the episodes, and I messaged my friend who absolutely adores him, and I go, "No, he was in that too. Is that secretly the Doctor? Blah blah blah." And he's like, "No, we wish. He is always the Doctor, though."
If you're gonna watch all the series, you might as well go back and watch K9 and Company. It's only one episode.
I remember when Peter Capaldi.
What was you saying?
The first seeing probably The Crow Road, I think, which is an Ian Banks novel that was adapted on the BBC in about '96, I think. Brilliant, and he plays the murdered, I think, older brother of the central character in it, but he's still a young man in that. And I remember him being in what was it? Neverwhere. He was in the production of Never. He was the Angel Islington as well, still young. He was a heartthrob back in the day.
Ooh. It's the voice. Absolutely the voice.
So, who would we like to see play the Doctor now?
Can I nominate myself?
You can.
No, if I can't, I want Michael Sheen to, because I feel like he can bring the joy to the Doctor, just the fun, goofy nature, but also he is really good at playing a tortured soul. And especially nowadays, a lot of people can relate to feeling just, I don't know, uneasy, feeling down, depressed. And we need something that's relatable. And you can show how the Doctor deals with that. And I feel like Michael Sheen would be a perfect person to just step through, okay, something happened to the Doctor. He's reliving memories, whatever, add a new trauma. Poor man's been through enough. But he can show the joy and the sorrow. And that's just the end of it. I think he'd be brilliant.
We got 2 votes for Katie in the chat now.
Woohoo! Now, would you want me as an American or as a Scot? Because I can do the Scottish accent. I cannot do the British accent.
We've got 1 view, Hugh Laurie, and we got 1 vote for John Cleese.
I was going to mention Hugh Laurie. I think Hugh Laurie would be excellent in the role, and I thought he would have been a good candidate when Matt Smith got the role. I don't remember if he was still playing Dr. House at the time.
Could have been.
I guess he called
But
me
they were
maybe
still-
like a companion.
They were still pursuing ever younger flesh when they were putting Matt Smith into the role. They only bucked
true.
that trend when they finally put Peter Capaldi in, and then wasted him utterly with the failing ends of Moffat's talent and writing. It would appear, oh, I can't be asked anymore. Oh, come on, you've got the best actor we've had, probably the best actor in the entire modern era. I love David Tennant's stuff, but I think Capaldi is a better actor, but wasted.
So who
I
would
heard. Go ahead, DJ.
I was just going to ask Dr. Alex, who would you vote for?
I know. I actually agree with most of what you've already said. All the ones you've put forward are good. I think who's that? I think Hugh Laurie. I don't know. He's had the House thing. It would be hard to separate the roles. I think there'd be a problem with having him in both roles. But who's the other one you said? You said at the same time as Hugh Laurie said one other.
Before Hugh Laurie,
another older one.
John Cleese.
Oh, nah.
No.
John Cleese.
No.
John
The
Cleese
doctor
has not
goes
been
completely the opposite of PC.
Yeah, no, but John Cleese is great in interviews. He's not funny for quite a long time, and he wasn't the best actor either. I mean, he wasn't even the best actor in Monty Python. So, I mean, I wouldn't go down the
those are
John Cleese
frightening
route.
words.
I think there's been enough time since Hugh Laurie played Dr. House that you could separate
maybe get away
them
with
now.
that. Yeah.
Another interesting choice, and I saw this in the chat, was Alexander Sedig.
Mm-hmm.
I know the name, but I can't play.
I know he's iconic as Dr. Bashir on Deep Space Nine, but I think he would be a good choice.
Very interesting.
Yeah, he could work. Yeah, he could work.
I could see him as a master.
On that note, Professor, I actually heard recently people suggesting Khomeini be Doctor Who. He's Irish, but
I could see him as
I don't
a
know
companion.
about that.
Not the lead, though.
See, I'm bucking the trend again, and I'm saying the doctor did state we could see some of the old favorites, and I say Paul McGann.
Yeah, Paul McGann would be freaking awesome. Yeah, I mean, again, wasted. The movie was not what it should have been. Although we enjoyed seeing Sylvester McCoy getting shot again and again and again and again and again. That aside, the movie wasn't
not
very
all
well
of us,
scripted.
Dr. Alex.
But Paul McGann is a brilliant actor, and in that 5-minute bit they brought him back for, it showed just how amazing he would have been as the Doctor. And of course, he was the Doctor for Big Finish all the way from the movie until the reboot. So I mean,
yes,
he had a lot of audio adventures out there. A lot of the books and novels were being written about him. I wrote about him. My second Big Finish story was, for a while, the last canon 8th Doctor story, because I wrote it right towards the end of his regeneration, and that was in 2004. We knew it was coming to an end. We knew there'd be a new Doctor soon. So I deliberately went, right, I'm going to... And for a very small period of time, it was the canon, as much as you can have canon then, because it was all chat rooms and what read. It was the in-canon 8th story, and then some asshole managed to fit in another one after it. I don't know how. But yeah, I used the 8th Doctor, and I liked the 8th Doctor. I used him in a very dark and depressing story, deliberately because he's such a upbeat and positive character for much of his run, particularly his introduction. I just felt he was the perfect Doctor to put into a very, very... I don't want to do any spoilers, because I don't know, you can go and watch it. I did read that one. You can go and see it on my channel. But it's a very dark story, and he just seemed completely the one you wouldn't expect to be in such a horrible, dark situation. So, yeah, I love the 8th Doctor, even though the movie was not the best. He is a great Doctor.
Oh, I love Paul McGann from the beginning. In the TV movie. He was just phenomenal in the role.
Yeah, it's just the writing wasn't so great, but he was great.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I did love the theme song for the movie, though.
Oh, I agree with you. They did a great job with the theme on that movie.
Yeah, it heavily influenced the reboot theme as well.
But
it probably did.
Alrighty, we lost PJ.
Yeah, he'll pop back up.
No, Richie, not Kelly Clarkson.
Guy Fieri? No!
Yeah, they're giving out outlandish comments
what
now.
What that into my head?
You know, they've had Queen Latifah. They're hell, if they're going to stick to a female doctor, have the one from this past season that actually acted like the doctor.
The one that we don't know where it fits into canon either, but
we're not sure where she fits in. Some people
that answer.
It's something before, but I say it can't be before because her damn TARDIS was a police box, so it cannot be before Hartnell's doctor.
Well, see, I've got this whole headcanon going on where I think she's an incarnation between 2 and 3. And I can fit it in and make it all work.
I think a lot of people fit stuff there.
Yeah, you can fit it in, but then the regeneration cycle doesn't match up.
No, not the way I fit it in.
They inject them with more regenerations.
That's what she said.
That's how they normally do it in the series. Like, we'll just inject you like the War Doctor. Like, for God's sake, just because you can't get Eccleston back. I mean, I love John Hurt. May he rest in peace. But for God's sake, could you just not do it more elegantly? They have always done hatchet jobs to get things to work. But Timball's he's not using a hatchet anymore. He's using a chainsaw in each hand. I mean, he's just bloody hell, he's awful. But there are lots of bad canon things.
No,
it was a real shame that McGann was busy at the time because they did consider him for that War Doctor part 2.
Would have been better, yes.
I agree.
He was busy too, so we got John Hurt.
I wonder if they'd ever, if Eccleston would ever be willing to come back and do another season of 9, like before he met Rose.
Well, he's doing it now with Big Finish, isn't he? I mean, he's certainly doing it with somebody. Yeah.
I'd love it if he could come back on air.
But he made a comment about not doing TV again.
That's so sad.
I think there's too much bad blood between him and the BBC that he just does not want to be on the show again. I seriously even doubt they'll be able to get him back for the 60th anniversary if Doctor Who is on.
I'll tell you what, if they do a 60th anniversary special, it better be every living doctor. You could put them in a room, just have them sit in a room staring at each other like, hi. And I'd be happy with it. There doesn't even need to be a plot. Just let them write it themselves. There you go. Have all the previous doctors write the 60th episode.
We're only 2 years away.
It's so weird to think about.
I hope Tom Baker makes it.
The question is, will it still be on the air by then?
I think it will.
Not. I don't know.
Oh, I think it will.
I think it will just because it is Doctor Who and you're going to have a new crew come on eventually.
It's too iconic around the world. It may go on hiatus at some point, but I think it'll make it to 60.
I think it'll need a hiatus in order to recover. People will need to have a memory lapse, and they will need to start writing, ignoring a lot of stuff.
Well, and sometimes... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, and it can be done, but it's going to be inelegant, and it will... There's a lot of bad taste to remove, really, the crap writing.
And I think it will take a little bit of a hiatus to get new blood in, like for my generation to come in and start writing, or to get people who are truly fans of the show back in and start writing. You got to get out. You got to break the cycle somehow. And if it's a hiatus that does it, then so be it. But there will always be fans. There will always be fans, and that means there will always be a demand for more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still out there producing stuff for it, so I mean, it's clearly our passion will keep it going, but it's just depressing to have someone so negligent in charge.
And I think that'll finally catch up to them and bite them in the butt. If enough fans say, "Screw you guys for doing this to us," it's either they're going to have to burn with the ship or jump ship and build something new.
They need
Not
to get back to
60
the basics.
episodes. Thomas Potts, no, not 60 episodes, 60 years. We're talking about 60 years.
Yeah, it's been around almost 60 years now.
That's insane.
Now, if it does go on hiatus, which it probably will at some point, I don't think it will take 7 to 9 years for it to come back. You know, there were 7 years between the end of the classic to the TV movie, and then 9 years from that to the reboot or restart. I should say restart.
It would maybe take 5, I'd say at the most, because people would demand to have some more.
I agree.
Well, the rate people restart franchises these days, it will be about that sort of time frame.
Oh, don't even get me started on the Twister reboot they're talking about.
How many Fantastic Four reboots have we had so far? I mean,
too many.
Spider-Man, for God's sake, again.
Hey, at least we didn't have to put up with the origin story all over again with this Spider-Man.
True. Yeah, you just kind of gloss over. Everyone knows, guys, we've done this enough.
But even this new Battlestar they're talking about is kind of making me worried now.
I still don't know what they're doing with that. I've heard that it's not a reboot. I've heard that it's going to be a part of the 2003 series. I've also heard that it's going to be a brand new story. So I don't know.
I've heard that they were going to try to tackle more topics of now with it. And we've seen how that's affected Doctor Who.
It does not bode well, no.
Well, you got the same thing going on in Star Trek, too.
But I think if Doctor Who could just get back to the basics, back to the original basics of how it was, telling you a good story, giving you a little bit there to make you think about, but not beating you over the head with it, it'd be back doing great.
And it just takes one change of production team to get that to happen.
And
it's going to be hard, but they could get it.
We've got one more person thrown into the mix.
No.
You
get
I agree with you, Katie. No.
You have one iconic role. No more.
Yeah, but your channel's called So Many Fandoms.
Yes, but Daniel Radcliffe, I would not be able to look and be like, oh, that's the Doctor. I'd look and I'd be like, oh, that's either the Swiss Army Man or Harry Potter.
That's back to my complaints of the Doctor getting ever more and more younger until they put a fetus into the role. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Daniel Radcliffe isn't that young anymore, but it's just, God's sake, stop it with the fetish for young flesh, will you god-awful showrunners.
Come on, just make him a 40-something-year-old and let it hang right there.
A lot of people were saying Benedict Cumberbatch for a while, and no, he's Sherlock.
Yeah.
I can't see him as a Doctor.
I could see him as a Doctor because of Sherlock. I know he has like the chops for it, and he could do great at like sassily explaining things, but
Matt Smith lost out of Sherlock and then ended up with the Doctor role immediately afterwards. So they're all clearly aiming at similar things. Yes.
Yeah.
We're getting pointed out though. Patrick Stewart and Harrison Ford have a couple each too. So
Patrick Stewart, Harrison Ford, probably not. Just
well, he's not saying that they could be the Doctor. They're just saying that they both have multiple fandoms.
Oh yeah, true. I thought you were like Harrison Ford as the Doctor. I'm like, what?
No,
That man has never done a British accent in his life.
Well, a little bit more age on the.
It's bad enough.
Like a bit more age on the Doctor, but I don't necessarily about hip replacement.
I would be happy if we had an unknown. You just bring up a very good young actor or someone who's a brilliant actor but's been flying under the radar their whole career. You don't have to have a big blockbuster name.
That's what they've usually done.
That triggered me. You said young actor. Why couldn't it be an older actor?
It totally could be. It's just in recent year you go with you got David, you got Matt, usually generally younger, even Jodie.
Yeah.
is on the younger side.
Increasing
I guess.
fetish for younger and younger flesh. Yes, nothing unhealthy about this at all. And of course, we should want heroes who are barely out of school, and we shouldn't be aiming for being anything better than we are then when we're about 12. I mean, for God's sake, when I was a kid, when I was a child, I didn't want to be a 12-year-old hero. I wanted to be things like Sherlock Holmes, who was always depicted as someone who knew what they were doing. The Saint, the Falcon. They were old. They'd been around the world a bit. You know, they were. Any of these characters were not boys or just out of school, and yet now, because everyone has to see themselves in the role, we get heroes who are like 13, 14, 15, 16. But come on, they know bugger all about the world, and they can do nothing. I mean, aim higher than just being where you are. Otherwise, you will be there forever.
I'd be comfortable getting an elderly person, someone in their 80s or 90s, giving as many seasons as they're alive.
Saying that, here's the most outlandish comment yet.
No, that man is
absolutely not.
He's missing a few screws. If anyone here has seen him at conventions recently, he's missing a few screws.
And here's the second most outlandish comment of the day.
Well, I would expect that from Bird of Prey 5.
What are you doing, Bob?
What did he say?
Ricky Gervais. At least he didn't say Mr. Bean.
Oh,
Roger Moore as the Doctor would be great, says Robert Rose Jr.
Even though he has passed away.
If he wasn't dead.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, how do you get Roger Moore?
It's all CGI. It's going to be a CGI.
Well, if
CGI
you're talking about,
doctor.
if you're opening it up to people who have passed, I would go with Robin Williams. I would love to see him as the Doctor.
No, if we were going to go to that route, I would pick Sean Connery.
Yes, I'm the Doctor.
Am I remembering incorrectly here? Didn't they consider Michael Jackson at one point for the role as in the TV movie?
I think I just vomited in my mouth a little bit.
I think that was all kind of a joke.
Okay. I think I've read that though.
I know I've read it too, but I think that was just a joke that was thrown out there at the time.
If that was ever real, that would be the worst decision or thought in Doctor Who.
Let's be happy that they went the route they did with Paul McGann.
I'll just throw it out there. Dr. Alex is the Doctor because he's already the Doctor.
There you are.
He doesn't have to change a thing.
That's true.
He has the outfits already.
I'm kind of meant to be all I've done. As long as it's space, suppose.
I think the Daleks have interrupted your stream. It was a little garbled there.
Damn Daleks. And PJ is back.
Yay! Welcome back, PJ.
Sorry.
It's okay. We were just talking about who we'd want to have as the Doctor.
And Andrea Seabrook says Professor Brainy Specs is the next Doctor.
Ooh.
You know, I gotta say, I could see that. Actually,
you could see me as the Doctor.
I could because maybe it's because I know your enthusiasm for that. Maybe it's that. But
well, you know, I love the show. I've loved it since '82 when I started watching it.
Actually, I want to see Professor Brainy Specs doing Doctor Who cosplay just to see how much of a.
I need to put together a Seventh Doctor outfit.
Well, I tell you, if he's the Doctor,
I'd go with the brown coat.
If the Professor's the Doctor, then I'd have to be the Master.
Anthony Ainley, Master.
That's the best Master.
Delgado Master.
That's Delgado. Come on.
Somebody said Hulk Hogan.
I still like.
Anthony Ainley was the Master when Sylvester McCoy was the Doctor. So, and I think he had his best story as the Master in the run of
Anthony started out. Anthony started out with Tom Baker.
Yeah.
Well, he did. Yeah, I know he did.
But he did last.
I'm just saying.
McCoy, yeah.
I'm just saying, I think his best story was Survival, which happened to be the last story of the classic run. But
And that's a big finish I need to get. Is there is a story of all the masters.
Now, does Dr. Alex does Dr. Alex do cosplay?
Well, I had to dress
Funny,
up as the
Thomas.
doctors as I read them. To be fair, I didn't do a lot of dressing up until I started doing my PhD. And then it's kind of really was like Big Bang Theory. I did go to a lot of costume parties in the 4 years I was doing my PhD. So yeah, Big Bang Theory is right in that much, but not before, not after, except professionally when I've dressed up as the various doctor characters in the videos I've recorded for the 12th Doctor series.
Nice. I'm actually considering going for my PhD just so I can walk up and be like, "Hi, I'm the doctor." I mean, it'd be a waste of money to be able to say that, but I really want to.
How dare you? That's the only reason I did it.
I guarantee you there's at least probably 100 people out there in the world right now who did it because of Doctor Who.
Can we ask what you're a doctor of, Doc?
Yeah, you've anticipated what I was about to say. I'm a doctor of time and space.
Ah.
I'm a cosmologist.
Of course.
But it's slightly more technical, correct language. But yeah, no, I did do my PhD in cosmology, looking at all non-standard or beyond the standard model of space, current standard model of space-time. Did some Lemaitre, Tom and Bondi perturbed stuff to see how lumps would evolve in that cosmology. And then the second 2/3 of it was dark matter and dark energy research, and how dark matter and dark energy interacting with multiple species would affect the evolution of galaxies and matter in the universe.
Now, I just got to stop you here for 1 sec. You know that we have a show called Dark Matter Mondays, right? Have you ever watched the show Dark Matter?
And I think
You just
Dr.
blew his
Alex
mind.
froze.
He froze.
I think he froze.
I think he
Or
froze.
we blew his mind.
Every time I've frozen, I can hear everyone else.
Oh
He's
no!
back. He's moving again.
I hope so.
Yep.
So I was just saying that we have a show on Mondays where we review Dark Matter with its creator. It's a Dark Matter show.
It's awesome.
Right. Okay. So who's creating the dark matter?
Well, the show is called. It's a science fiction show called Dark Matter, created by one of the executive producers of Stargate, Joe Maluzzi.
Oh, cool.
So,
very cool.
If you've ever seen it, we could actually say we actually have a dark matter specialist.
Ah!
Yes, I haven't. Send me the link.
We'll have to talk. I'll send you a link.
Okay, that's good.
Judi Dench.
Yeah, we've still got all these. We got
Robert
Kyle
Picardo.
McLaughlin. Yeah, they're still going wild in the chat on who to. We've even had Doomcock, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
There's Brent Spiner.
The chat just goes wild when you ask them a question about who should do what, and they don't give up.
That's why we love the chat.
There's Mr. CCDV, the other candidate for the master.
Jeremy Clarkson as the Doctor. Well, I know what that reference is, but no way.
Oh, Deej.
Yes.
Where are our other panelists?
Right up there in front of us.
The other ones?
Hello?
Which other ones?
You know, the two
here.
other ones?
I don't know.
Wow. Berto
There are
Prey
two
5
others?
says Nephew Prey as the Doctor.
By the time it gets after its hiatus, it might just about work.
I'm not sure where the panelists are.
Okay.
They're talking in code.
I don't know.
Now, my question is, because I always think with the actor, I imagine they just have a whole drawer full of mock-up Sonics. They just walk up and they go, all right, which one do you want? And I hope that's how they choose which Sonic they have. But with some of these choices that people are throwing out, and I just imagine like what their Sonic would look like Gilbert Gottfried. Good heavens.
Oh my
his
God.
would just be like I don't even know what his would look like. But it's always fun to imagine.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, the voice would just kill me on like 2 episodes.
That would be as bad as Paul Rubens as the Doctor.
What if you got Seth MacFarlane?
Though he does have a bow tie, so.
Seth MacFarlane's got the character for it, yeah.
I could see Seth.
Oh, and he could do Stewie's voice.
What to do?
Oh yeah, he'd come up with a perfect voice for sure.
Now I kind of want that.
Yes, I'm the Doctor.
Darren asks, which Sonic screwdriver is everybody's favorite?
River Song. Hands down.
I'd have to go with the 9th, 10th Doctor Sonic.
Eh?
Although I do like Capaldi's Sonic that he got.
I like Capaldi's Sonic sunglasses.
The one that I don't have to show on screen. Although I love what they did with the toy version of the Sonic for the 12th Doctor, because you can get the green light, you can get the blue light. It has different modes, whereas David's and Rivers, it's like, woo, that's it.
Katie, I once saw this old lady, this grandmotherly type lady, walk by somebody in a Doctor Who outfit, like playing with the toys that you were playing with.
Yeah. And
she was quite upset at the fact that the gentleman had all these sex toys in his hand. according to her.
She isn't wrong.
That's TMI. We don't need to know that one. No.
All the elderly women.
There is only one sonic screwdriver in reality, of course. This one.
I want it to be like a lightsaber where you could just go to a Doctor Who theme park and make your own sonic screwdriver. That's all I want from life.
Katie, where's your second?
That would be
Doctor?
Cool.
Where's your second Doctor screwdriver?
It's not here.
Mm-hmm.
I only have New Who.
Mm-hmm.
I could make one, though. I could make one and probably give me 3 hours.
I love Patrick Troughton in that role. He did a great second Doctor.
That's it. If Dr. Alex can put on his hat. So
his son David Troughton could probably do it.
Nice.
Oh, Sonic lipstick.
Who is?
Well, Sarah Jane did have Sonic lipstick.
There you go.
Let me ask this question. I don't know. Forgive me if it's already been asked. Who is your least favorite Doctor? Have you guys talked about that?
Don't do that to
Who are
me.
you asking?
Well, we know Deej's.
Yeah, I don't have to answer that one. And if somebody else mentions somebody, Professor may get.
Yeah, I think we might.
In my head, I was excluding Jodie Whittaker, by the way.
Oh, well, that's different.
Okay, so if we have to go with an answer without including Jodie, least favorite Doctor.
Sylvester McCoy.
I
forgive you, Dr. Alex. I forgive you.
Thank you.
I actually have to go with Colin Baker.
Oh.
Well, Colin Baker's interesting. On TV, I would agree with you. He was brilliant in Big Finish.
He suffered from inconsistent writing, which is often what cripples many doctors. But Colin Baker was a good actor, and his character was good if it had been consistent. It was just he was let down by really choppy writing. But yeah, Colin Baker, prefer him to Sylvester McCoy any day. That was just Sylvester McCoy is not an actor. Let's put it that way. I mean, he wasn't trained in a proper way. He hasn't. Name me another role you've seen in him where he's blown the people away with his performance. Go.
I only go with Colin Baker because I just couldn't stand that outfit.
I didn't like his portrayal as the Doctor. Now I know he was kind of forced to play it the way he did, but
yeah,
I just did not like that portrayal of the Doctor. And forgive me, but Sylvester McCoy, I know he's not a classically trained actor, but he was a breath of fresh air over Colin Baker. That's just how I felt. I thought, oh, thank God, the Colin Baker's gone now. Let's see what this new actor does, and it worked for me. It just clicked, especially once they brought Sophie Aldred in as Ace.
Yeah, to be fair, his introduction was a bit soured because he was lumbered with Bonnie Langford, which didn't help.
That is true.
Yeah, that was not great.
Once they got into seasons 25 and 26, I thought the show was starting to get back on track. The stories were better. I know that they still had a couple clunkers in there, but it was getting better. Season 26 was the best season of Doctor Who since probably early Peter Davison, in my opinion.
I was watching it very infrequently by the time we got to the end of Sylvester McCoy's run, which is unfortunate because, if it was picking up at that point, it was an unfortunate time to be getting out of it, but I was barely interested by that point.
And I didn't mean to talk over you, Katie.
Oh, you're fine. No, because y'all are talking all about the original Who. I haven't seen enough of it to make a decision as to which one I don't like the most. But just looking at New Who, I have to say the last season of Matt Smith was my least favorite Doctor that I've seen. And I think it's because of Clara. I can't stand Clara.
I can't stand Clara
definitely
either.
Need to watch. You need to watch my series. You need to watch my 12th Doctor series. I saw everything out. Everything. I've rectified all the problems with modern era Who. Just watch it. You'll love the last episode in particular.
Ooh. Oh, I will be looking into that.
Watch the penultimate one first, otherwise,
Yeah.
So we got asked about least favorite Doctors and stuff. How about favorite and least favorite companion?
Let me just say, my least favorite Doctor was Sylvester McCoy.
Yay!
I forgive you, PJ.
Sorry.
He's my favorite. He's my favorite. Like I said, he's probably not the best, but he's my favorite. And there is a difference.
Granted, I'm the least qualified here to even discuss this, but he seems off to me. I don't know, that's all. But I apologize, Jeff.
No need to apologize. Everybody can have their opinion.
Ooh, all capitals.
Clara did nothing wrong, just like Janeway, right, Yosef?
Oh, can I just stop 1 sec, please, Deej? Do me a favor. Not Ryan Johnson. I apologize greatly for that super chat the other night. I was a little overwhelmed on the stream, and you super chatted me. Thank you so much for your very generous donation, not Ryan Johnson. I don't remember your Twitter alias. DM me if you can, please. Thank you, not Ryan Johnson. Thanks, Steve. Sorry.
We've got Ace as a least favorite companion from Mr. CCTV.
Oh, wow. I forgive you, Mr. CCTV.
I wasn't too keen on Ace either, but I wasn't as against Clara as some people.
Really?
I can
see why Clara was getting too overconfident, but then they wrote it into the plot brilliantly by killing her because of it. I mean, she got too cocky and died, and that makes perfect sense. And then they ruined it by bringing her back from the dead. But I mean, that's the way to undercut a tragic death. Bring them back again. Well done.
Right.
Again, you've fucked it up. And I, by the way, unfucked it. Don't worry. Go back and watch my series. It fixes everything. You have to watch mine.
I'm going to throw two companions out there because I'm choosing one from New Who and one from Classic Who. Clara is my least favorite in New Who.
We finally agree on something.
And Tegan is my least favorite in Classic.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that one.
Yeah, I can see it. But did you ask for favorites as well, PJ?
You can do the favorites too if you want.
Oh,
Sure.
can I do mine?
Yep, you can do yours too. Everybody can do
Go
their
for it.
favorites.
Romana 1 is my favorite character, favorite companion of all time.
Yep.
Not even Romana 2. Romana 2 was always, I felt, a bit wishy-washy in comparison to Romana 1. But Romana 1, tall, dark-haired, sarky, controlled, of the same height as the Doctor. It was just perfect. And she stepped down from the role because she felt she wasn't being utilized enough. She was sold the role as being, you will be on a par with the Doctor, essentially. You're almost at his level, and you're not as experienced, but you've got the same sort of smarts and nous, and you will not just be a screaming girl tied to the railway tracks in the background. This is not what you'll be. But by the end of her first season, only season, she felt that was where her character had ended up, and I can understand her frustration, but I still think she was the best companion because there was an element of parity. They were close to each other. There wasn't as much that he could lord it over her, but it wasn't him being brought down. They just literally had brought a character up to his level. That's how to make a strong female character, by the way, Chinball et al., you twats. Anyway, that's my favorite companion of all time. That's my favorite companion of all time. Romana 1 was the best. Again, a wasted opportunity. They didn't make the most of her. We ended up with the slightly wishy-washy Lala Ward playing Romana 2, but better than nothing.
I think
Well,
I didn't
this
mention.
was good.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Katie.
I didn't mention my least favorite, which I've seen it pop up a couple of times. People are like, I like Rose. Rose is great. Rose is probably one of my least favorite, other than Clara. But my favorite has to be Donna.
Oh,
She's
good.
loud, she's smart, and she's sassy.
Well, this may surprise you. From the classic run, my favorite companion was Jamie. His
Jamie's
chemistry with the second Doctor was just off the wall. Just awesome. I love those two together. Great Doctor companion combo there. And I know they had another companion with those two at all times, at least one. But those two worked great together. Least favorite companion from the classic run would be Mel. Oh, I could not stand her yelling. Oh my goodness. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
That was Bonnie. Was that Bonnie Langford?
Yes.
So
And she wasn't bad in Big Finish. They actually used her role to the advantage of the stories in Big Finish. For New Who, love Donna. Gotta agree with you, Katie. Donna was fabulous. She just wanted to be there, have fun, be on the adventure with the Doctor. And she wanted to do it, until she died. She just loved being there with him and going on those adventures, which I think is. Go ahead, Katie.
Oh no, you go. Sorry.
No, I just thought they worked really well together.
It was
My
so
least
tragic.
favorite. Yeah. Oh, every time I watch that episode, I cry. I admit it. She loses her memory of everything that happened. All she wanted to be is, be there with him and experience all that, and she lost it all.
At least the companions who die because of being with the Doctor, they die with their memories.
Right.
It's a fate worse than death for Donna.
Now, my least favorite from the new series, this is probably going to be unpopular. I couldn't stand Amy. Oh my God, Amy. The way she treated Rory, I hated it. Oh, that was horrible. Poor guy.
Yeah. Agreed. She was good in the first season. Second season was pretty good too. Then the third season, it just got crap.
he waited 2,000 years to be with her again as the Roman soldier. But she couldn't stand being away from him for, how long was it? 40 years?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. However much she aged up.
Yeah. So I didn't like Amy.
I think I'm going to only have to say for New Who, me and Louise, we're going to agree, Martha. I think Martha was a very underrated companion.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she walked the earth for a whole year for the Doctor. It's like the amount of commitment that she had, it's more than most.
Martha's my favorite from New. From Classic, though, I just cannot pick anybody else but Sarah Jane.
Sarah Jane is very good. I put that my second one.
Good choice.
Yeah.
And I disagree on Romana. I like the second Romana better than the first. Personal choice.
Oh, each to their own.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Alex on that one. The first Romana was better.
Oh yeah, that dark hair just.
Yep.
I have to pick Jenna as Clara from my favorite. I know it's shallow.
I like it. I like
Katie. Say what's on your mind, Katie.
No, because I just found out that my mom goes back and watches all the podcasts I'm on, so I can't say what I'm thinking.
Oh, she'll never see this one.
She doesn't watch DJ's channel. Go ahead.
Doesn't watch my channel. You're safe here. Nobody watches my channel. Come on.
Oh,
I watched your channel.
Well, that's true. Dr. Alex didn't tune in.
Go ahead, Katie.
Say
it. Come on, Katie. You can do it. Come on, we'll even
private chat it.
Bigify you for it. Come on.
Say it, Katie. Say it.
Katie, did you do something to your hand?
Do it.
Oh, yeah, I jacked up my arm. I found out that Radar, who's looking at me very guiltily, does not like the vacuum, even when it's sitting next to the side of the wall. And I was carrying him. He got a glimpse of it. And now I have like a 5-inch gash right across my arm and jacked up my finger, too. So I'm going to look like this on air tomorrow.
The gash is from what, though? From glass? Or
from his claw. He didn't mean it. He just got freaked out, but it basically runs from here down to here. And then there's another one up here, and I'm just keeping pressure on it because it occasionally just randomly starts bleeding.
Ooh.
Oh, well.
Radar.
Yeah, Radar. What do you do? He always sits right here when we podcast, so we'll see if he'll be kind. Come here, bud. I think the Doctor should have another K9 and just make it a cat. What do you think, bud?
Feline.
Yeah? Can you say hello? Look at the camera. You are so tired right now. No, that's the microphone.
The Doctor can have feline instead of canine.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's better than that android he had for a while.
Yeah. Chameleon.
Yeah, Chameleon. That one was kind of horrible. But you got to go back to Classic Who for Chameleon.
Right. Fifth Doctor. And Chameleon was only in a handful of stories, 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah. Because I don't think anybody was crazy for Chameleon. So, final thoughts on what you think about Doctor Who right now. Because we got to wrap this up so Katie can get some rest before her long shift.
I would say I'm cautiously optimistic that the fans' rage will get us something new.
Dr. Alex.
I think Doctor Who can be saved, but yes, I don't think it'll be in the hands of its current management, and I think that may even be not in the hands of the BBC. I am not even confident we'll see the BBC in 2 years' time, yet alone Doctor Who. So for now, I think we are the custodians of Doctor Who. All of us who look after and mention and write and do our own Doctor Who, and I'm not the only one, there are plenty of us out there now doing our own Doctor Who. We are the ones supporting and holding the franchise up. and we'll support it wherever it goes. And I don't think it will see it at the BBC. I think they'll see bigger changes than anyone's expecting, and it will not be at the BBC.
Here. I agree with that one. Professor.
I'm hoping for some sort of satisfactory wrap-up of the Timeless Child story arc. I know that'll be tough because a lot of fans do not like it at all. But I'm hoping that they can write it somehow so everyone at least is somewhat satisfied by it. From there, bring in a new showrunner and get a new doctor, as I know the current one is divisive, and go from there and go back to those simple stories that you were saying, Deej.
PJ.
I like to. I think that what Dr. Alex said about possibly unexplored paradigms to running Doctor Who, like we might see something totally different, maybe not run by the BBC. I think it's possible that there is the time has come for something like that. So hopefully, maybe it's not. I think it would be a good thing. But again, I like you guys said, I don't think it. There's going to have to be new management, or somebody's going to have to turn the page on what's happening now. So,
yeah, I have to agree with Dr. Alex. Somebody else besides the BBC needs to take this over. Somebody that actually cares for it and wants to do good science fiction and not use it just to browbeat. Whatever. I'm tired.
Well, you might
beat over the head.
If the BBC survives, I think you'll see changes there in the higher up, and that might bring changes to Doctor Who.
And I'm going to say Katie's favorite word of the day. Stop being so damn woke.
Yeah, it's fine. You can put in modern things. Just don't, you got to wrap them in a sci-fi wrap, or otherwise it's just the real world and no one wants to live in that right now.
No, not Ryan Johnson says Project Prometheus will be the next Doctor Who. I knew it'd come up at some point. Project
Prometheus is going to be everywhere and everything.
If nobody knows what Project Prometheus is, just go hang over at Geeks Enjoy Nerdrotica. He'll explain it all to you.
Or not. Or not
fix,
explain it.
Yeah, and he'll fix your computer at the same time. So there's that too.
Win-win.
Hey, shout out to Resolute Germ, who I know has an Orville rewatch party tonight.
Ooh.
Anybody's got anything they need to plug right now? Like a book?
Keep an eye out on my channel. I am working on a really epic Star Trek fan video, and I'm going to be doing my Doctor Who fandom forecast within the next few weeks.
Cool.
How many subs you at, Katie?
Not enough. Let's see. It went up after our last last show. Let's see. Yes, it's at So Many Fandoms if anyone is interested, not the one with anime. I got to change my channel name. I have 378 subs. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great, Katie. Keep it going.
A couple more, but not much.
Yeah.
Let's see. Professor, he's thrown out 2 links that everybody should check out.
I'm the new co-host of History with R&R. We have a radio show coming out this Tuesday on Fort Sumter. So if you're interested in history, check that out. And I also help produce a Trek trivia show every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's called Question of Trek. And it's actually Continuum Trek's show, but I help with the scoreboard, and I'm also the referee. And we have 2 teams, and they test out their Trek knowledge. They compete against each other for points. We have a lot of fun. Join us.
Awesome.
PJ.
I just want to give a shout out to, I heard it's Drew's birthday, and he's doing a birthday stream, Drew Supreme Heretic.
Ooh.
And we have Latchcomb coming up in a little while, and Dark Matter Mondays tomorrow. So
yeah.
with Katie, with our
you weren't here. You weren't here. I had that all confused, and I thought Katie was on after this, and so I was going to try to keep the stream short because I thought she had 2 shows today. I was like, I'm out of it.
She's quite in demand.
And Dr. Alex, we need to get you. We need to get you up there too. We need to get subs for you.
Yeah, I'd like to be at 1,000 and actually be able to make money.
Because you do great work on Doctor Who.
You got the viewing hours, Doc?
The viewing hours?
Do you have the viewing hours yet? The 4,000 viewing hours for monetization?
I'm not sure. I might. Not in the way I expected, because I uploaded Stephen Moore's reading of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, and those videos have had way more views than anything else I've ever put up. Like, there are 10,000 plus views on them, on all of them. So maybe, yeah, I think I probably do actually, just by virtue of that. But
awesome.
Yeah, I just need a few more subs. Did you want to know what I was doing? I can't remember if that was a question originally.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, right. So I do a lot less of the streaming, as you know, but Old Media Guy wants me back. He's already sort of nobbled me for my book launch, which could have been sometime this week, but it hasn't been because I'm in the hands of my editor at the moment, Aeon, who is also my co-star in the series 12 that Katie needs to go watch desperately now, all of it. But
yes,
yeah, said what?
Yes, she does.
Yes, she does. So I'm in the hands of my editor with regards to the release of the next book. But then when that happens, I should be streaming with Old Media Guy again. Although apparently it was my turn to do the stream, but since I'm releasing the book, he has to do it because I can't do the stream for the thing I'm actually releasing myself. Apparently that's bad. You can't do that. So that's fine. He'll be doing it. And I'm in the middle of recording a video right now. When you came up and said you want to come on, yeah, sure. I was caught off on the hop. I was actually doing a small video saying when the BBC became worthless. And there's a subtitle that hint, it's earlier than you think. And I've recorded all the audio for it, and I'm not going to have my ugly mug on this one. It's just going to be the normal floating avatar version of this, but all the audio is recorded. I just need to cut it together into a sensible with clips and pictures, but that should be up in the next couple of days.
Awesome. We'll have to check that one out because I am really interested in how early it was. My guess is kind of like maybe the 80s. But
not that early, but
we'll have to watch the video to find out for sure.
Yes, well, no spoilers. Spoilers?
Yeah, no spoilers. River Song would be mad.
Deej, before we go, can I ask Katie a question?
You can.
Katie, I have a request for so many fandoms.
Okay.
How about an ASMR video?
ASMR video? Of what?
Of weather report.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's going to be cloudy with a chance of precipitation. Yeah, that's not going to work. But I'm working together. I have a couple of friends who are in grad school right now, but they're actually into doing a podcast here probably next weekend about some of our storm chasing stories and how we've almost gotten arrested and blown up and bitten by poisonous snakes and et cetera, et cetera.
Awesome.
So
wow.
It'll be pretty funny. One of them has the voice of a god, so it should be amazing.
I don't know. I kind of need the weather forecast for Scaro and Gallifrey. And
Raxacorca fallopatorius as well.
That's right.
If I don't keep saying it, I'll lose it.
I can't do it in the first place, but, you know. I got to say.
Raxacorca fallopatorius. How hard is that?
Raxacorca fallopatorius.
I just go, and there I'm done. Anyway, I want to thank all the great panelists I had up here today. Katie, meteorologist Katie, for our Jody aspect of it.
Hooray! Thanks for having me.
We had Jeff for the middle ground that kind of balanced us out.
Yeah, it's a good thing that I'm between you two, I think, because I am the middle ground. I do kind of like what they're doing, but I can also see where you don't like what they're doing, Deej. So yeah, I get both sides of it.
And then we had my backup, Dr. Alex. Dr. Alex
backup
is kind
Dr.
of the
Alex, because you've got the main Dr. Alex somewhere else, yeah?
Well, I'm just saying because, you know, Dr. Alex kind of feels like I do. They really screwed it up here. So it was nice to have somebody else besides me preaching it. I didn't have to do much about it. I just let him handle it because he sounds so much more intelligent than I do.
It's just the accent. Come on.
Well, you brought the class with the accent.
And Deej, I'm sorry, Deej, before you go, I need to say something before you finish.
Okay.
Oh, can I go? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to apologize to Brian Terranova. He was supposed to be on the panel, and he was the gentleman we've had on other panels where he had the TARDIS in his home, remember, as the backdrop. So, Brian, I'm sorry. It was a miscommunication. It's my fault. We were on Deej's channel, and I didn't realize that you were not sent the link, but it's my fault. So I apologize, Brian, if you're listening. Hope to have you on at some point.
Yeah, definitely. If I knew where to send the link, I would have had that right out.
Yeah, it's my bad.
So we'll have another Doctor Who panel then, Deej?
Listen, we could go on other channels. We could go on the Doc's channel or Jeff's channel.
I'd be happy to host like a Doctor Who episode, just write an episode for Jodie and see how you guys would fix all the stuff. You get one episode. Start thinking of ideas.
Watch my series.
Yeah.
Go watch my series
Yes,
now.
you have to watch Dr. Alex.
Katie, you better pick a vacation day because it could take us a while on that.
Good heavens. You have
It is 12 episodes.
1 2-hour special. We'll go with that.
But yep, I want to thank everybody for coming today. I want to thank those that showed up in the chat. It was a much larger crowd than I actually thought was going to be here today. And keep up the faith, people. Doctor Who will be back in all its glory somewhere, sometime, even if we have to rely on those like Dr. Alex to do it for us because the BBC can't get its head out of its ass.
There you go. New producer for Doctor Who, Dr. Alex.
There you go.
Thank you, DJ, for having me as well.
I really appreciate you coming. It was a great honor to have you up on the stream with me. Great honor for Katie to be here, PJ to be here, even Jeff to be here, even though he does like to harass me at times. But that's what we do.
Oh, you harass me back, so.
We are friends. That's what we do. We can harass each other and still be friends at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me up on the panel. I appreciate it, Deej.
My pleasure, Jeff. Anytime you want to be here. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. It's been almost 2 hours. I didn't think we'd go that long. Wow. Good night, and we will leave it with...
I'm trying to send a distress signal. Stop talking about doctors.
I'm a doctor.
I'm the doctor.
I'm the doctor!
No, Doctor, I'm the Doctor, and I say that you're not fit.
You may be a doctor, but I'm the doctor.
The original, you might say.
The definite article.
But probably not the one you expected.